You know, every time I start one of these, it switches for some reason to a different filter. That is not what I'm hoping for. So, welcome. This is Mary, and I'm really excited to talk to you today. We're going to talk about food cravings. So let me just increase this. Now I have a couple people who I'm pretty sure are going to be joining us. So let's just see. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think we're good and we will be ready to start soon. All right, so welcome to all of you who are able to join. Looked like, I'm looking over here, it looked like Cravings sort of won out for this particular lunch and learn. So we're going to do a little mini session. Usually when I've done this class in the past, it's probably been about a couple hours, but we'll keep it short. We'll try to see if we can keep it to about a half hour because that's a long time, especially with you guys working. So, yay. And I just want to tag a friend here because they wanted to come. And I am live. Okay, let me just make sure. Oh man, technology. Usually when you have a whole team, it's just, everybody's making sure it's all working. I'm my own team today. The video won't display on my end. States something went wrong. Sorry, we're having troubles playing this video. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, I see you. So Stacy sees me, and I can see me from my laptop. So I'm not sure, Dominique, what's going on, but that is unfortunate. All right. So we'll keep going. I'm sorry that that's happening for you. So food cravings. Let me just get my little outline here. So what I want you to do, if you have a piece of paper, you have a journal with you. I'm a big fan of journals and journaling in the moment. I want you to write down like your biggest food related cravings. Just take a minute. Just a couple food cravings. Welcome, Amy. Oh, okay. Amy hit refresh and it fixed being able to play the video. Okay. So what do you crave? Write down a couple ideas. Should be pretty easy. For me, some of my favorite things would be like a brownie with my favorite ice cream with like some nuts and then maybe some sort of either caramel sauce or chocolate sauce. That would be like my favorite thing. Or like a really good cookie or something like that. Because I like the creaminess of it. I like the heaviness of it. And I like that it reminds me of, I don't know, a different time where I didn't worry about what I ate. Something like that. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at those cravings and I want you to think about what if you were really thankful for these cravings? What if you were like, oh my gosh, it's so good to know that I really am craving some serious heavy dessert. And that probably means that there's some area in my life that I feel like I'm missing out on, especially during this particular time, right? So if that's the case and you're looking for something to fill some sort of void, then you're listening to your symptom, you're listening to your craving, and you're taking it for what it is, a communication tool. Okay? Your body is really smart, and the cravings are little clues as to what you need. Now, ask yourself, and do this as you look at what things that you crave, even if you're not craving them right in this moment, but ask yourself, what does my body need right now? Ask yourself, are you being too restrictive with your eating? Something. Are you stuffing something away? So today's goal is to really look at your cravings in a new way, instead of automatically thinking, these cravings are bad. I should ignore these cravings. I should instead eat celery and carrot sticks and whatever else you think should be eaten, and ignore what truly is. So I would love for you to explore how cravings can really help you create a better connection with yourself. Okay? So for me, I have found that there is an emotional and a spiritual component that must be addressed, and that's going to help us make better choices. So as somebody who's in the business of transforming people's health, helping them do that, right, being there side by side, it's really coming back to a simplicity point of view and saying, okay, how can I move forward and feel good about how I'm fueling my body, how I'm nourishing my body, and understand what these cravings are telling me? Because I want you to tell me, if some of you who are on this live, what do you think causes cravings? Like for you personally, what do you think causes cravings? And just type it in if you can. I'll give you a couple of mine while I'm waiting for people to type in. Boredom, for sure, causes cravings. Using food as entertainment generally can cause cravings, because you're eating and using that instead of actually interacting in life. You might be using food or eating something or baking or something to avoid another task. So you might be eating because you're procrastinating. Yeah, hormones for sure. Hormones play a big role. Yeah, boredom's huge. Comfort, of course. All of these, your guys are spot on. Good. Crave red meat during, yeah, exactly. And that's good, because if you can identify when you might be craving something, so like when your cycle hits or boredom, then you can take a pause and honor that craving, instead of immediately being like, oh, fuck. Like all I want to eat is a candy bar right now. All I want to do is have a drink, or all I want to do, whatever it is, you can step back and honor it for what it's giving you. A reward. Yes, that's good. Yeah, it can be a reward. So other things that can cause cravings, and you can write any of these down if it helps you remember or helps you stay involved, since you guys aren't able to talk to me directly, obviously typing. Stress causes cravings. No way, right? Dehydration. That's a big one. We're going to talk more about it. So if you have any water or some herbal tea or something, drink up. That didn't go down the right way. Excuse me. If your blood sugar is out of whack. So that's definitely something that will cause cravings. Seasonal changes cause cravings. So we're in spring. And so, the seasonal changes there can really do a little something to our systems. Lacking nutrients. This is a big one, and this is a big one for a lot of people, because if they're not eating healthfully generally, then you're missing out on certain nutrients. Or if you have different challenges with your digestive system, if you have celiac disease, if you have different food sensitivities or intolerance, you might not be absorbing your nutrients. So this could be something that we would need to look into. Obviously hormonal, Blair pointed that one. De-evolution. So basically, hey, we're not eating in line with the seasons as much. We're not eating real food. Sometimes we're just grabbing stuff from a box that doesn't even, like if you read the ingredients, it doesn't really even sound like food. So eating the same foods over and over and over can also cause cravings, right? Because you're just not giving yourself variety. And then other things that can cause cravings. You're not sleeping well enough. Your energy is low. And so like you are looking for sugar because you're looking for that boost of energy. You're looking for all the coffee and the different caffeinated products because you need something. So you want to look at all of these different angles and make cravings more manageable for yourself. So yes, there's this huge, for me, and I think if we always tap into it, into that spiritual connection of listening to this wonderful body of yours, you're almost, I would say 90% of the time, you're not going to go wrong if you truly listen and trust what it's telling you. Not just like, oh, it's okay, go have that. It's okay to eat this. It's okay to eat that. But then, disconnecting from the actual process of eating. Like I'm just eating and watching a show and I just keep doing the hand to mouth, but you're not even enjoying the popcorn. You're not even enjoying your ice creams, your stuffing. You don't enjoy it, then that's going to be a bit of a problem, right? So some things to consider. Number one, primary food. Now, what do I mean by primary food? Primary food is like the nourishing things that come about in your day-to-day. So being dissatisfied in a relationship or having inappropriate exercise or movement, feeling like you aren't able to enjoy the creative aspects of yourself. You feel disconnected from source, universe, whatever, God, your religion. You feel disconnected from, the people at work. This is primary food, those things that are in your life that really nourish you, but they aren't things you eat. So primary food, super important, and it's always an area you want to be tapping into. Are you giving yourself and cultivating the kinds of things in your life that are going to really nourish you at that soul level? Not your digestive system, but at the soul. So that's an area that you're going to always want to look at. So relationships, social life, creativity, spirituality, confidence, education, these are the different areas that you'll want to look into. Career, how are your finances? If it's really stressing you out, then you want to think about that. Your health, obviously, that's definitely something you're interested in. Physical activity, if you're cooking at home, and what is your home environment like, right? So those are all things to consider thinking of primary. So is there anything just mentioned that really speaks to you, and if that area is nourished, you feel like you don't notice cravings there as much, or you're not as focused on eating, or when your next meal is, or when your next snack is, or when you can indulge or enjoy? The second question, if you have an answer for that, the second question is there anything, an area of your life that I didn't mention that you were like, wait, this is a big flashing light, and this is something that's really important for me. I bet it's important for others. Please type it in the comments, because we can all benefit from each other's wisdom. So one question to ask about with your cravings is, especially with this line of thinking, is what happened in my life just before these cravings? Were you criticized? Did you have a bad interaction with somebody who you work with? Did you just get put down by someone? So look at it from that angle. Is this the only way to look at cravings? No, but it still is a really important area. So yes, there are lots of different areas that we talked about. We talked about blood sugar. We talked about hormonal. We talked about, lacking nutrients. All of those are important. But this, I would say, probably overarches all of them. So if you can really connect to this aspect of cravings, I would say, the rest of the cravings are going to be like a 5 to 10% challenge for you, because you're really allowing yourself to quiet, slow down, and listen to what you need. So as long as you are checking in, you're not repressing your feeling, emotions, you're really aware of the fact that, hey, all this stuff is going on, then you can do something. Let's see, I've got a note. Let me see. Yeah, I don't feel like these make my cravings worse, but if they are fulfilled, they make my cravings better. Yeah, that could definitely be the case for you. So what are some steps you can take in this area besides tuning in and acknowledging it? I'll give you some ideas. You could pick up the phone. You can make plans. And right now, plans are pretty restricted for many of us, but you can still get on and do a FaceTime or a Zoom call or whatever. Yeah, being disconnected from myself definitely makes cravings worse. Spot on. It's true. It would be so easy if I said, guys, this doesn't even really matter that much. It's just something to kind of consider. It'd be so easy to say that, because then you're not challenged with having to face what's really going on. It's, need to work out. Yeah, because working out is such a huge, vital part of many of our lives. Some people don't need as much physical activity and some people need more. And it makes me feel like a whole if I get that in. If I don't get physical activity in, I don't feel whole, and then I might be looking for something else. So other things I want you to jot any notes in the comments. Are there other steps you could take in this primary food realm that would help you feel like you were fulfilling a craving? For me, meditating, taking a bath, stepping away from the computer and social media. What about you? What are some ideas? Yeah, sometimes it might just be as simple as putting your shoes on to go work out, even if you're planning, like, I don't know, I'm not going to commit. I'm not committing to actually working out, but I'm committing to at least putting my shoes on. Or when the gyms were open, I'm going to commit to going there, getting ready, and if I don't enjoy myself, I can leave whenever I want. Yep, getting outside, perfect. Reading, writing, movement, totally. All perfect, all perfect. So, some things that help, some other sort of strategies to help with cravings in general are going to be staying hydrated. Removing or eliminating caffeine. Caffeine, don't get me wrong, I love a good coffee. I love raw chocolate. These things have caffeine, and I like tea. Cook and prepare actual food, yeah. But if you, depending on your nervous system, the caffeine could really place things out of whack, and that can then place things in a delicate way, and then you need to have more caffeine and more caffeine and more caffeine just to kind of get through your day. I'm all about energy, okay? And I still love a good coffee, but because I am my system's very delicate, I don't have too much of it, and I might have it only like once or twice a week or every other week or something, because if I have too much of it, I'm already really hyper and then I don't sleep as well, and you have that crash. And it still might feel really minimal. So staying hydrated, eliminating or removing caffeine, not meals. Now, I'm going to say that with a little pinch of a grain of salt. If you've ever talked to me and we've talked about Ayurveda, Vata Pitta Kapha, depending on your actual dosha, you may not need to eat 3 real steady meals. If you have a lot of kaphic energy, you might only need a couple meals and you're set. But let's just replace the eating meals with eating meals in a routine. You have the same, you eat something every day at this time, you eat something every day at that time. And that routine and making sure that you are fueling yourself is what's going to sustain you from cravings. Eat sweet fruits and veggies. Aha! So a lot of us are like, oh, especially, and I used to be a big culprit of this too, but sometimes we do need to overcorrect things. But sweet fruits and vegetables are a wonderful way to nip some of those cravings in the bud, instead of leaning for like the dark chocolate, which is delicious, or leaning for, let's say a muffin or a cookie or something like that. You're going to, now seasonally, oh my gosh, it's going to be berry season, and we're all going to be so excited. Our blueberries and our raspberries and our strawberries, berries, whatever. But right now, getting still those apples, some of those citrus fruits, but eating real fruit and really enjoying the sweetness of fruit. Because as you continue to eat more, the sweet aspect of the fruits and the sweet aspect of the veggies help that food craving. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, we need all of the tastes. So we need some bitter, we need some sweet, we need astringent, so we need all salty, we need all of these things. Because if we eliminate it completely, then almost 100% of the time, you are going to have a physical response of needing that food. And so it's going to show up probably in the I don't want to say the worst way possible, but it's going to show up in very viscerally, like, I just want something really sweet. So having those sweet fruits and veggies. Ooh, I just had some yummy parsnips, so you can roast those yummy vegetables, just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Like, roasting those veggies really, really fits the bill. And then it kind of is a nice ending to a meal when you've had all of those balanced tastes. Making sure that you eat and shoot for high quality carbs, so complex carbs. So with those, carrots, real whole foods versus, I had a whole wheat muffin, or I had a whole wheat English muffin, or I had there's certainly a time and place for that. Please don't think you can't have that. But just realize that depending on where you are, your cycle, where you are with, if you are feeling nourished in those primary foods we talked about, you might really want to lean on the high carbs, like less processed and more natural. So brown rice and whole grains in that way, versus something out of a box, again, that's been really processed and is very much ready to go, but there's not much sustenance there. So having a balanced meal, some of us can really get stuck in only eating certain things because we think they're healthy and they're good for us. So only eating a salad, your salad only has oil and vinegar, your salad only has a couple different veggies in it, it's big. It's a big salad. It's a big spinach salad, let's say, or it's a big mixed green salad. That still might not be enough of a balanced meal to satisfy you. Satisfaction of a meal is what, makes or break that meal. You really do want it to satisfy you, which will satiate you, which fulfills those needs for, the cravings. So think about that. You want to have good, the formula is you want to have a high quality protein, high quality fat, plus or minus a high quality carb to create stable blood sugar. So if you are cutting something out like completely, you want to take note of, well, I felt really good that meal, but then maybe the next time you're going to have, I had a cup of rice with it, or I had the whole wheat English muffin with it, or I had a roasted sweet potato, Protein, fat, yep, stable blood sugar, covered that. Good for me. Other things, just the idea of upgrading. This is always my favorite, upgrading. So what is a healthier version of something that you love? So tell me in the comments, what's something that you love to eat, but you don't think of it as it being a health food? I bet we can come up with some trade-ups, some upgrades. So in the comments, give me some ideas. And then we'll get that going. Make sure to include, for you're getting all the tastes, like sour and salty foods, not just sweet. Try to include like a Himalayan sea salt or a Celtic sea salt because it has more minerals in it, which means that you're going to digest your food better. Okay, we do need a little bit of salt in order to digest our food well. Nachos. Oh, that's great. Tortilla chips. Okay, so first of all, we should always allow ourselves to realize that food is good. Ooh, noodles. You guys have got some good ones. Okay, let me do this for a second. How would we upgrade our... Okay, so I would maybe... Definitely, let's just say we're still sticking with tortilla chips, right? Then upgrade and make it like lots of things are involved. Some, shredded chicken is involved. You made some homemade salsa, but, and then instead of cheese, you could just, you could have like pulverized nuts. You could use some nutritional yeast. There's ways to update that, especially if you need to have that crunchy, salty, creamy situation. However, another way would be you could do different kinds of chips. You could explore like cassava chips. You make your own kale chips. So you could do nachos and like the kale chips would be delicious, but then if you were trying to actually dip it, it's not going to work. But you could still like make it into like a nacho plate and then eat it with a fork. Oh yeah. So that would be really good. Nachos are delicious. What else did you say? And tortilla chips. Okay, tortilla chips, you can upgrade the tortilla chips. Like if you are avoiding corn, because some people are really sensitive to corn, you do rice tortillas, and then you could you could put a little bit of ghee on those, add a little bit of salt and pepper, or maybe even a little garlic salt, and then, or even, I'll stop there. And then you can heat those up and then cut them with a pizza cutter, and that would be a good upgrade. Now, here's why this is an even better upgrade if you use that rice tortilla as an example for your tortilla chip. Then you have like, this is the amount you're eating. And for some of us, it is helpful to kind of get a good gauge on how much is a good amount of food instead of a whole bag. Oh, the whole bag's open. Let me sneak a couple more. Let me sneak a couple more, right? So that might be really helpful. It might not. Another tortilla chip would be you could cut up and slice. Like this is a really easy way to use your zucchini. You could like bake up a bunch of either roast a bunch of zucchini or dehydrate zucchini, and then you could use those as chips. Same with, you could do cucumber slices. Okay, so there's a lot of ways. Oh my gosh, nachos could be done with sweet potatoes. Slice them up right? Put them on. Okay, perfect. I think that sounds great. Noodles. Okay, Amy, if you don't have a spiralizer, because noodles are delicious and you should definitely have noodles. But during this season, you can spiralize the heck out of everything and make all the noodles. So you can make carrot noodles, you can make the zucchini noodles, you can make you could do butternut squash noodles. You can do, I really like to use the spiralizer to slice up onions, by the way, as a side note. Makes it really easy. And here I thought I would be done in a half hour. Oops. Okay. If you need more ideas for noodles, Amy, let me know. Smoked meat. Oh, I know. Smoked meat is my favorite. So I don't know. I don't know that you need to, you can smoke your own meat, which is what I've done a lot in the past. I have a stovetop smoker. I got it when I worked at the kitchen store and I was like, what's that thing? It's amazing. So I just smoke all the chicken breasts. I smoke my salmon. I've smoked some other, you can like smoke a meatloaf, okay? But anyway, smoke the fish, smoke the chicken, smoke the turkey, and that really, you're not adding anything. You are only adding the wood chips and then smoking it. And so that means there's no added sugar, no added extra salt. I mean, you can definitely add some seasoning before you, like herbs and spices before you smoke it. Highly recommend it. That's like a really easy way to get that delicious meat in, because a lot of smoked meats, of smoked fish, they have salt, and that's just a good way to avoid it. Mac and cheese. There are so many ways to do mac and cheese. So yeah, you could definitely do a nutritional yeast situation, and then the macaroni part. Either you could do like a whole grain pasta, or you could, gosh, I'm trying to think of the different things. Like a lot of people will either almond sort of pasta. I feel like I'm missing it, but I'll look up a mac and cheese. Many, especially vegans, are really into making mac and cheese. It's like their favorite. So they've got some really great ideas, and some of those vegans will also try to really up the veggie portion versus just leaning on the grain. So I'll look into that. Cheese and crackers are delicious. I would just, again, especially seasonally, since we're coming into the summer, tons of either cucumber slices and then having cheese on there, or doing like some herbs, cucumber slices, and then eating and having good quality. Why not? But allowing yourself to maybe even just go out and buy the smaller portions. You know how some places like Whole Foods or the co-ops and Barley's, Lunds, they will sell everything in like really small packages. So you could buy a variety of small packages and just know like, I'm going to eat all of that. And it's fantastic, versus going to somewhere like Costco and buying like the delicious cheese, but it's like this big and you just start cutting into it. That might be difficult to stop if cheese is your thing. Yeah. Okay. So, but you could of course pre-cut everything and have it portioned out. As you're like, so back to the whole craving thing, instead of going into how to eat it, you want to be asking yourself, if you're eating your cheese and crackers, which I think you should, and I think you should in so many ways, by checking in with yourself and being like, okay, I really enjoyed, these crackers and this cheese, and I typically would go and get more. And sit with that and be like, why do I feel like I need more? Is there something missing? Do I need more water? Haven't I drank enough water today? Did I eat enough real meals today? Sitting with that and exploring that, so then you know what you need. Cookies, there are a lot of healthier cookies. So you can do a lot of things with oatmeal and just plain straight up banana. You can make banana cookies. You can make banana bars. You can make cookies from squash, like lots of squashes. I really love making cookies with, which squash is it? I've done it with all of them, but their squash, it's kind of, Spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is delicious for noodles, by the way. So Mackey's, spaghetti squash. You said noodles, spaghetti. Okay, so that would be good. But yeah, you can make cookies with squashes. Okay. My husband and kale chips is a hard no. Well, that is totally okay, because then it would be more kale chips for you. Oh, bye, Kathy. Back to work. So yeah, you just want to explore those ideas. All right. So, just making sure that you include your meals, like different spices and different nations. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and cardamom, like adding those to your sweet veggies can really just like increase this satiation and deliciousness of them. Make sure you're getting sleep. We talked about that. Eliminating fat-free or low-fat foods. I'm sure all of you know this already. Don't eat fat-free foods. Don't eat low-fat foods. There you have usually more salt and more fake to taste even remotely okay. Just even thinking about that makes me feel gross, because I spent a lot of time eating fat-free shit when I was a kid because I thought it was better for me, and it ultimately made me feel shit anyways. Okay, so what are some steps you can take? Learning how to be intuitive, learning to sit in the awareness and the discomfort of having the craving and allowing yourself to explore it. Eating only when hungry. That's a hard one for a lot of us. And so that really does mean you have to sit in the discomfort. Build all the different tastes into your meal. Try to eat without guilt. We can go into that. That's a big one another time. And just allow yourself to get some support. So as your basic that we've talked about was, this for being dehydrated. We didn't go into any detail on this, but there are certain foods. There's yin and yang foods. And certain foods are really expansive and certain foods are really contracting. And so if you're having one or the other of those, there can be a disconnect, and then again you'll end up having a craving. So if you have too much sugar in your diet all the time, you are going to find that you're going to ping pong between eating like tons of sugar and then a lot of meat. Or if you're only eating raw foods, you may end up needing, having cravings for like really dehydrated food. And things will just feel a little bit out of balance. So some foods, if you think about it, let's just say that you're always having really, you're just always eating salad because salad's good for you. Salad's good for you. You like salad. You're always eating it, always eating it. One thing that will end up happening is it's such a light, it grows up. So this light food will cause you to need something heavy to really ground you. So there's the big thing of ice cream. There's a big, bars, muffins, cookies. That's going to be heavy, and it's going to balance out that energy. Is that for the best? No, because if you're so even though salad is good, no food is really inherently bad unless it's not real food. But you just want to watch that ebb and flow. Like if you're only eating salads all the time and then your go-to is, I need to eat a pizza, like a real, I want stuffed crust, deep dish pizza. Well, that makes sense because it's balancing out the lightness. If you bring more balance into your every meal, you're not going to be kind of ping-ponging. Okay. Sometimes we have cravings because of our childhood. Sometimes we have cravings from ancestral foods. So my family's really big into potatoes. We're from, we're Irish. I don't know. But my family really likes those. And they were like, when I said, I don't know, potatoes. They're like, potatoes make me feel good. don't mess with my potatoes. I love my potatoes. And they go on about potatoes. That's fine. So that might be one of those things where it's just kind of ingrained in your DNA, where it's something and that your ancestors ate. So remember that when we change seasons, like we talked about very briefly, we're in spring. Springtime is a time where like we do a lot of releasing. So a lot of people, you're talking about doing cleanses and detoxes and loving your liver right now, because this is the best time of year because there's a shedding involved. There's a rebirth involved, right? The trees shed everything and now they're starting to blossom and bloom, and it's this new rebirth sort of energy. So seasonally, all of us are probably gravitating more towards, oh my gosh, salad. Like salad didn't good in the like I want a soup or a stew or a casserole. And now you're like, I want more salads. I want to make wraps. I want to, that's so normal. And eating in line with that can really balance out food cravings. Again, back to lack of nutrients. Notice if you are minerally deficient. And a lot of times you'll know that if you have like edema in your arms and your legs, something isn't quite right. If you're feeling always hungry and you're like, this doesn't make sense, I know I'm eating enough food, you are not absorbing it. So you want to not only look at, should you up some of your salts? Should you be taking trace minerals? Do you need to check in with health and see what's going on? These are all things to consider with lack of nutrients, because the absorption can be a problem for many of us. And then again, hormonals. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Hormonally, whether you're menstruating, whether you're pregnant, whether you're going through menopause, things are fluctuating, and honor that during like your time, you might just hang on to a lot of weight. And then what if you just notice it, relax about it and not stress out about it and go, oh my God, I gained 10 pounds this week. And just be like, actually, it's extra water weight. And yes, I do just like, I require more calories during this time. Watch that ebb and flow instead of judging it. That's a huge one. And then watching any self-sabotage. Some of you may be in it, from many of you gosh, I was just doing so well and then I just like totally sabotaged everything. Yeah. Watch that. What's that about? That's a whole other big thing, but something to consider. So today, I could have gone into more detail. Like I said, this is at least a 2-hour class usually. Just wanted to do a little of what you're possibly about. We could say, well, craving chocolate, you need magnesium. It's that simple. The nutrient, that's what you need. So you are smart. Your body's really smart. It goes. But we're not going to nitpick to that level, because most of us aren't going to remember, oh my gosh, anytime I want milk, it means whatever. Or every time I want, beer, it means that I'm probably needing some B vitamins and I'm trying to reduce my stress. So we're not going to go into that, but I just wanted you to get a little idea. So please, in the comments, let me know what you thought of this class. Let me know if there's some other areas of interest that you want me to talk about. But I love your feedback. So keep me posted. Yeah, and feel free to send me a message. Let me know. Invite your friends to our group if you haven't invited them already and you think they would be interested. Oh, I forgot. Teaching my energy class next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central. So I'll pop a link in here at the bottom. And if you want to join me, you can. Otherwise, I'm not seeing any questions. So I will leave you. But if there's anything else, feel pop it in and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you, Blair, for hopping on. Bye, guys.